Dynaphones connected. Initiating broadcast signal in
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies, gentlemen, and knights of the Nerd World Order, this is the Nerd World Order broadcast. I am the man that you call Dukes, and to my right, it's all about the...
Booyah! What's up? It's your boy Joe, baby.
And to my other right, weighing in at 178 adamantium filled pounds, coming straight out of Krakoa, Alfonso X-Man Flores.
Maximum effort.
This episode will be maximum effort. In fact, we're going to crank it up to 100. That's right.
Yeah.
We are actually celebrating the 100th episode of the Nerd World Order broadcast. We're going to cover how it started, how it's going, how it's been done, and everything else in the middle. So strap in your seats and get ready for this adventure as we walk you through 100 episodes of the Nerd World Order broadcast. What's up, my bros?
What up?
So, I'll just start it off because we got 1 hour, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. You'll find out as you're listening and watching on YouTube, exactly how long this goes, because we don't know. We don't plan this. We just jump in and see how it goes, like a pool of cold water. Let's talk about how it all started. So, there is a story that one time I was talking to someone at a convention and they said, "What's next for the NWO?" And I said, "Me and Joe, we're going to start a broadcast and we're going to call it a broadcast." And then Joe said, "We are, huh?" And there we go, is the history of the NWO broadcast. So Joe, what's your thoughts on the first episode when that went down?
Well, it's kind of amazing that we, the reason why we made it to 100 episodes, because as always, we keep it 100 from here to down undy. So, it was pretty cool, dude. We thought about talking about doing it for a while. I mean, we would always talk and discuss things since we were like 19, I want to say, on bus rides going down to either, we always had the same thing. We go get comics and then go watch a movie afterwards and get something to eat. But we'd always have these type of discussions before podcast was even a thing. So it's only natural that we would gravitate to doing something that we talk about anyways. So, just put it on a platform.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm gonna quote Ice-T for a second, paraphrasing.
Cop
killer. Better you than me. So Larry King asked Ice Cube why he started Body Count. And he said, my buddy used to always play guitar at Crenshaw High School. And so I wanted everybody to be able to hear my buddy play guitar like he was playing at Crenshaw High School. So that's why we started Body Count, so everybody could hear my man play guitar. And that's kind of like what I feel like with me and Joe. We've been talking forever. I can't play guitar, neither can Joe, as far as I know. If he is, then hidden talent, Joe, hidden talent. But we've been talking about this for years. So it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, okay, we've been talking about this. Let's have everybody else see it. Everybody else experience what it's like, So when we started that first episode, it was just us in a Hyundai Sonata with a microphone wrapped around a rear view mirror. And that's how the first episode dropped. If you listen to the first episode, which Alfonso has informed me is lost to posterity, you can hear the gardener in the background, So it was a wild first episode. Alfonso,
we were at a timeshare.
I'd be loving them timeshares. Now, at first I was like, timeshare? That's a waste of money. But then, bro, when you get to walk in and you got like 3 bedrooms to spend a weekend on vacation, and they have like fancy everything. You got a fridge, you got a microwave. Timeshares, my dude. This segment is sponsored by Timeshares of America. But yeah, it was a timeshare. So Alfonso, did you hear the first episode?
I did. I listened to every single episode. I don't think I heard it like right away. I was probably about 2 or 3 episodes in before I started actually listening, because it's like one of those things like, I got to get to that. I got to get to that. How do you listen to a podcast? I have no clue. I had to do the research, figure it out, carry the 1s and 2s. And there I was.
Dude, well, thanks for jumping on as early as you did, man. And thank you to everybody that listens to the podcast, whether it be from episode number 1, or if you're just coming in 99, or as Jonathan London over at Geekscape likes to say, if this is your first episode, welcome aboard. So yeah, just thanks to everybody who's listened to the podcast and supported us over this 100 episodes. Alfonso, I'm going to let you kind of be the ringmaster today. What's first up? What do you want to talk about?
Well, I got a whole list of things, just so everybody knows out there in podcast land. Podcast. I did. I was probably guest starring on maybe 2 or 3 episodes before I actually got called up to the big leagues. I was in the minor leagues down there, and then like episode 20 is like, Alfonso, we're gonna need you to step up. We're gonna need you here full time. And I'm like, put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. So that's about all the sports I know.
Well, the thing about bringing Alfonso on is, Joe, you tell me if you disagree. Listen to me and Joe is just like talking to 2 brothers who love each other, but who are going to argue and fight over everything. Even if we disagree, or even if we agree on stuff, we're going to be like, how can I disagree with this dude? So bringing in Alfonso definitely gave us a different dynamic, a lot more of what I like to call the ray of sunshine. And when it comes to Alfonso's knowledge, little did I know that my knowledge of comic books would be overshadowed by Alfonso's just knowledge of comic books, not Predator 2. He hasn't seen Predator 2, but man, you've just been such an awesome addition, Alfonso.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys having me. Like I said, I was always such a fan. And when you brought me on, it was an honor. It's like, it started off with the Nerd World Order group on Facebook. I was big time into that. I was liking everything. I was sharing everything. I was commenting on everything, and I got to be like top poster of the month here and there. And I was just trying to help spread the word. I went to see a Kevin Smith. What is it? Fat Man on Batman over at the Scum and Villainy Cantina, and I got to ask a question, and I go, first of all, as a member of this Nerd World Order, let me just ask this question. So I had to preface that with that, because I was trying to throw it out there a little bit. But yeah, it's been an awesome group, and all I know is I want to be a part of it. I'm again super honored that you guys brought me aboard, because I enjoy this every week. I enjoy it so much. My son, he's always like, Dad, what are you talking about? What are you guys going to do? Can I be on? And then finally we had him on last episode, and he was stoked. He was super stoked, and we listened to it, and he was, we got our biggest little fan over there.
That's pretty awesome, dude. There's the video episode out too. So, obviously he's the most photogenic kid in America. So he's already seen himself in front of the camera plenty of times, but he might get a kick out of, being on YouTubes and whatnot.
Thanks for watching. Yeah. So, right now off the bat, I was just curious, like, do you guys have favorite moments? What was your favorite moment of the podcast? Is there like somebody we spoke with that stood out, or was there something like a specific subject that you guys loved the most? I mean, of course, with me, it was X-Men. Talking X-Men anytime. Episode 7, they brought me in for X Marks the Spot. We talked X-Men, and I was so happy.
So this is going to be one of those Alfonso answers where it's like, I have all these kids and I'm not going to pick just one. So 2 things. Number 1 is saying Cult Popcast.
Cult Popcast.
I still don't know if I said it correctly. So, shout out to the homies over at the Cult Popcast. But also the second thing that I really enjoyed was just hearing Joe talk about Phase 4. We're just talking about Phase 4 because it's like, I don't even know how to describe how Phase 4 was just such a disappointment, but it provided the most material for us. We could be talking about like Dragon Ball, and Joe would go, and you know what? This is why Phase 4 sucks.
You got Palpatine in the background, like, yes, let your head consume you.
Yeah, so that would be me.
That's pretty funny. Even on the 100 episode, we're talking about how bad Phase 4 was. So I mean, it comes around for us full circle, friends and foes. My favorite episode would have to be, like I have two. I mean, I enjoy having our guests on there because I think us adding guests to the podcast gave us more depth and discussions and certain topics we wanted to talk about and bring in people that are specialized in some of those topics that we talk about, So the first one that I really like is our first episode because obviously it's our first episode. And so like Duke said, I remember, I mean, we wrapped that little microphone. I don't even know if you still have that microphone. It felt like a microphone you get at Tubi or Tumi. You know what I mean? You wrapped it
was
around.
Amazon. It was Amazon.
And you wrap it around the mirror, and every time we heard a noise, you kept looking around. You had your laptop, and I think we talked about DC. I can't remember. I think it was like DC, CW, and James Gunn. I think it was.
Yeah,
kind of hit on that, and actually how we talked about James Gunn would do things if DC used him.
Little did we know that he would eventually be the head of DC. So I'll say that Joe, being kind of a fortune teller, definitely called that one. But I'm going to throw in another one while Joe's just kind of sitting in the freezer. And there he is. There he is. We got him back. Guess who's back? Back again. Joe is back.
Tell a friend.
Back again.
I'm gonna reach in my bag. And
yes, that bootleg again. I think it's Spectrum.
I'm gonna reach in my bag, bro. Okay, Joe's back.
Yeah, my bad, dude. It's Spectrum Internet.
Hey, man. I used to sell that inferior internet, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then my second one would be the addition of Alf.
Nice.
That's my second best, because it got to a point where we were kind of getting stagnant in our making time to make episodes currently, and I felt like with the addition of Alf, he kept us honest and back on track, more focused. And all three of us, I always tell people at work, like when you have a group of supervisors together, you all can't be the same. What makes a good team is everybody different, but they complement each other. And I felt like when Alf, like I remember me and Alan would have discussions behind the scenes of like, we should bring Alf into the fold. And when we invited you with Cult Popcast and saw how you interacted with all of us, and we had come to a decision that we should bring you along because it'd be a great addition to us, and you complement us well. To what Duke said, like you're always the one in the middle. Like you could teeter-totter on my side, or you could teeter-totter on Alan's side, or you could have a different view, or you could have no view. Just say, hey, I have a lot of kids and I love them all the same. But it's just, I think we complement each other well. So, I mean, those are my two favorite episodes if I had to pick. I enjoy all our different guests, but for me, those two episodes sparked the beginning of how we got up to 100 episodes, in my opinion.
Nice.
Yeah. One additional thing I'll just throw in there. The Anime Expo episode was great because I had to completely sharpen my debating skills and my fighting out of a corner skill because I infuriated a room full of anime nerds with all of my views on that boring Anime Expo. So that was fun too. And it was just cool having, Joe's Brood on there, it was just fun, dude. So that was definitely one that sticks out in my mind.
And we had some bomb pizza, even though you hated it. Everyone else agrees it was the best pizza we ate. He did not like it.
It was disgusting. And the salad was disgusting. How bad is it when I won't eat a salad? Okay. You've never seen that before.
Yes, I've seen you eat Comic-Con salad, which is terrible, but you still ate it because you was hungry. So stop the
And-
cap in 2024.
Yeah.
Well, who's the salad at a con, bro? Come on, dude.
Rabbits.
Rabbits and rabbit lovers. Cool. So, Alfonso, what's up next?
Well, since you guys brought it up, speaking of the Cult Popcast and Stephen Burnett, Stephen is actually an old friend of mine from way back. I got to know him through a mutual friend who, not recently, but, by then recently had passed away.
Mhm.
So Stephen and I, in our shared, commiserating, we came together and we started talking some more. He told me about his podcast. I guest starred on there a few times as well as guest starring on here. And it was cool because I actually got us together. We all went and guest starred on their podcast and we've had him on a few times. I love the way we have experts in certain areas because, I don't know a lot about anime, Joe does, but he also has friends that do and family, as a matter of fact. Star Wars, we all know quite a bit about Star Wars, but nothing like Danny Salazar, so we've had our fair share of guests on. So that's going to be my next thing is like, who are some of the guests that really, really stood out compared to the others? I mean, we had Cavi. Cavi is one that, has been a long time NWO member. He's always a supporter. He brought a lot to the table. What do you guys, what did you guys like about?
Let's actually bring on Danny Salazar, see what he has to say about.
Congrats on 100 episodes, guys. Thanks for continually putting out great content and creating a community where nerds of all kinds can feel welcome. I'm grateful to be included in some of the conversations along the way. Great job. Cheers, fellas.
So that's Danny giving us a shout out, and you got to absolutely love that. So am I going to say that I had a favorite guest? Not quite yet, because I got kids and I love them all the same. But I'll speak to what Danny brought to the podcast. I feel like Danny's love of Star Wars and his depth of knowledge. Joe always had way more Star Wars knowledge than me. But Joe is, in my opinion, he is into everything. Joe's got knowledge on everything. But Danny eats, lives, breathes Star Wars. And so that passion that he brings and his ability to just spout off information and have great, intelligent debates and conversations with Joe about Star Wars, like me, I just end up cracking some dumb joke about hamburgers and moving on. But so, I feel like Danny is just the perfect person to bring on whenever we have Star Wars episodes.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like with Danny on the podcast, sometimes I feel like it's just me and him in a room and we're just going back and forth about different takes. We think about, Star Wars, kind of like how, like when we did the X-Men episode, like shout out to Finch when he was going back and forth with Alf, because they're both into X-Men. So it's like, it's kind of dope in the sense of like, it brings our discussion and our thought process to think about new, different dilemmas in certain scenes or episodes that we can talk about. So I enjoy when he comes out, we talk about Star Wars. It's nice.
Yeah, I agree. So, Alfonso, any thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, Danny is he's got that knowledge that we don't, I know a lot about Star Wars, in my opinion. I mean, I know Joe does, I know you do as well, but I've never read the books. I've never read those books that tell you about Thrawn and bringing all that to the table. I never played, all those games of, Knights of the Old Republic, Knights of the New Republic, Knights of the Republic of the Republic. And, I just, it's like, I've always had, a little bit of understanding of it, but man, it's awesome to know how much knowledge is out there about all this stuff. And we can get all in one guy. So that helped a lot. Second guest that, one of my all-time favorites.
Wait, hold on. Hey, Dan, you can't stop me from calling you Poppy. Okay, go ahead, Alfonso.
All right. So one of my other favorite guests of all time is one of my best friends in the world, Devlin Talbert. Originally he was the Batmite, but now that he's wrapped his truck in all Jurassic Park, and he's been doing what are they called? You know, where you drive
Car
parades.
shows.
Yeah, he's been doing car shows,
Car
parades.
shows,
Yeah, he's
street fairs, car racing, drifting.
illegal backyard wrestling. Um, but yeah, Devlin's a great fountain of knowledge, just about anything in life. You know, it's like sometimes, unless I heard a meme about it, I don't really understand what's going on in the news. So if I have something I need to touch base on, I will check with Devlin. He'll set me straight. Um, he's somebody that, you know, I can compare shows with, I can talk shows with. It's been kind of tough lately because he's moved, but he's driving and commuting quite a bit. So he doesn't have all the time for the TV shows that I watch. And I'm like, dude, you let me down, man. Who am I supposed to talk to this about? So, but I got you guys. So you're going to have to fill the void. I'm sorry. But yeah, Devlin's just a great guy. He'll do anything for me. He's always there for me. It's like mine and his relationship are a lot like yours and Joe's, you know, where you guys known each other forever. You know, I met Devlin a long time ago when I was managing the Walmart Vision Center. So, you know, we kind of leased a place there, and I wasn't a Walmart employee. We just worked in the Walmart, and he worked for Walmart in the photo lab. And like, dude, you're smart, you're intelligent, you can talk. I go, let's get you out of Walmart, because they were only making whatever minimum wage was. And let me put you in here in optics. Let me teach you how to be an optician. And I taught him how to be an optician. I taught him how to be a manager. And that boy, you know what he did? He surpassed me. He like blew me away when it comes to optical knowledge. And I'm an optical geek, man. And I don't know how he did it, but you know, he went on and worked in Kaiser. So he's got a vast knowledge of everything, because they offer a lot more than what I did in my little store. You know, he had a kid, and he's like, Alfonso, man, I don't know how to be a father. You got to teach me how to be a father. I didn't have a dad to show me. So I took him under my wing, and I'm like, this is how you dad, man. This is how you dad. And through his, you know, knowledge and his experiences, he's become such a great father. And I'm so proud. And, you know, honestly, it's like, sometimes I look to him for advice, and it's like the master has truly become the pupil. And I couldn't be more proud of Devlin than you know, most anybody I know.
Nice. Very nice. Well, let's see what Dev has to say about the 100th episode.
Hey guys, Dev here. Congratulations on 100 episodes. That's incredible. I am so grateful to have been a small part of that milestone, and I can't wait to be a part of the next. You guys are dynamites. Booyah!
Okay, first of all, go.
Minor.
So first of all, Dev, the placement of the Jurassic Park truck in the background, nice. I like that, dude. So that's the truck that he drifts in, and does the street racing in. If you're looking at this on YouTube, which we strongly encourage you to like and subscribe on YouTube. Yeah, you know, for me, the thing about Dev is, you know, you mentioned that he, you know, you kind of showed him the ropes about being a dad, man. I just, you know, he'll post pictures with his daughter, and you just honestly know, like, there's a genuine love that he experiences being a dad, you know, and it's just really cool to see that. So knowing I didn't realize the dynamic, you know, that's super cool, man. Dev, the thing I liked about Dev is that he always brought a level of, I'll say, enjoyment and happiness. Like, he always made the show fun, when I always thought that the show couldn't get any more fun than when Alfonso was on. So Dev has always just been that guy that cranks it up a notch and has the great knowledge. So thank you, Dev, very much for, you know, being a part of the broadcast.
All right, so let's see, what other guests have we had here? Let's see, you know, we did Steven. We've had Cavi. You guys knew Cavi long before I did. Apparently he's some kind of rap god.
Yes, he is in fact the rap god. Eminem tried to take the title of rap god, and then Cavi busted out the nerdcore, and so Cavi remains the rap god. Currently Cavi's actually traveling Europe. Yeah, so for his job. I'm not sure if it's top secret or not, but yeah, he's with a band right now, traveling across Europe, which is super cool. So, you know, props to Cavi. The thing about Cavi is, ever since we've known him, I don't think there's anyone that hustles harder and focuses more on his success, you know, whether it be rapping, whether it be being Jesus's stage manager, whether it be he's Jesus' stage manager. You should check it out sometime. Now Alfonso's laughing like it's not true. It's true. And so, you know, whether it be that, you know, he's got his skits. Cavi has always been hustling.
Teleprompting,
yes, which is how he got this current gig. And
Promoting-
obviously, he works with Bat in the Sun.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's promoting clubs and events during Comic-Con. Like he got us backstage to some. It wasn't Run DMC, but it was one of the Run DMC.
It was DMC.
DMC. Yes.
Yeah.
Daryl. Yeah. Like we said, man. So here's the thing about Cavi is he's been super busy, always busy. But he took 5 minutes out of his day to just shout us out. So let's hear what Cavi in Europe, coming live from Europe, but it's not really live, but it is live. Coming live from Europe, Cavi Anvil.
What up? It's your boy Cavi Anvil. Just want to give a huge shout out to the NWO broadcast. Congratulations on 100 episodes. Let's go! Wow!
Bois is like the variant of Booyah.
Yeah.
You know?
He's been saying it for years though. Wow.
Yeah. So you know the thing about Cavi is like Alfonso mentioned, he has supported us from the moment he met us. And you know, if you're watching it on YouTube, which I encourage all of you to do, like and subscribe over at YouTube. The brothers in Europe, right? We didn't know. He had no idea we were going to have a 100th episode. Who's wearing a Nerd World Order t-shirt right now, walking around Europe being like Polyvoo Nerd?
Yeah.
Boy, Cavi, dude. Like, Cavi's amazing. Thank you so much, Cavi.
Cavi's dope. Cavi is loyal to the core, man. Like I feel like if we were gonna go battle something, Cavi would be right there next to me, dude. He reminds me of like, I know I'm not saying it because he's white, but there's a story of like when Suge Knight came to like, you know, when they heard 50 Cent was filming a video, and then Eminem was all up in there, like they said he had guns, and Eminem didn't care. He was in the front going, "What's up? What's up?" And I felt Cavi would do that if someone came to us, Cavi would be in the front like, "What's good? What's good? We're gonna do this, or we're not gonna do this." And I felt Cavi have always been that person, and he's always been supportive with us in our endeavors. And the one thing I like to your point, Alan, is Cavi's always on the grind like it's 1999, and he'll go from like giving us barcodes to use those bikes when they first came out, those motorized bikes, to, you know, to what Alf said, get us in the club. You know, he's always on the grind now. He's in Europe doing his thing. It's always top secret with him. It was kind of dope. You know what I mean? Like, you can't talk about it until it's actually over. And then when he tells you some of the stories, you're like, oh, dude, that's pretty dope, dude. Yeah. So like, I've always had, and it's funny because the last time I saw him, I'll tell the story. Last time I saw him, like Alpha and Dukes wanted to do this Hellfire Gala, and it was super hot, man. And I was not having fun, dude. My knees were hurting, dude. And I was like, I got to go. I'm walking and I'm sprinting, walking back to the hotel, dude. And all I hear is, "Hey, Joe." I look up. "Oh, hey, what's up, Cavi?" He's like, "Why you look like that? And why are you sweating?" I'm like, "Well, you know, when big people like me move pretty fast, we start sweating." And yeah, he's like, "Well, what are you doing out here?" I'm all kind of pissed off that I was in this Hellfire bar that I wasn't enjoying. And I left Dukes and I left Alpha in there, and I'm going back to the hotel. "Hey, yo, let's go get something to eat." And so we went to get something to eat, and then, you know, Alpha and Dukes joined us, and I think it was like we ate chicken strips and fries. But it was good to see Cavi. You know what I mean? Like, he somehow, some way, we bump into him, dude. Like, even when you're not, you know, he'll be looking for you. "I'm looking for you the whole weekend," and then, you know, finally we bump each other, and that's how it always happens. We're always doing our own thing when we go to these cons, but eventually we all sync up and meet up. But he's a good dude. He's a loyal dude, and I'm always going to be there for him because he's always there for us.
Yeah, I agree. And thank you, Cavi, for being on the One Piece episode. It was a great episode. That's where someone filled in, because I don't know anything about One Piece, and I think that Dragon Ball is the greatest anime of all time. So it was nice to have someone who actually knew what they were talking about besides Joe for anime. So yeah,
I mean, he knows. And then also shout out to my boy Dean. Dean was on like a episode of anime, and, you know, believe it or not, he knows way more than I do. So I mean, even though I know some things, he knows some things even more. So some of the stuff that I do talk about is something that we've discussed. Like, hey, have you watched this new anime? Which and he's always, or you need to watch this one. So his knowledge of anime is pretty good, and his schedule is always, we both work at UPS, and his schedule is always like, he has an hour drive home, so it's always hard for him to sync up to, when we record like on Tuesdays and stuff. But he's always down, but it's just all about the timing and stuff. But again, just like Cavi, like, and then my son and my nephews, I mean, their anime, they'll break some stuff down, and you're just like, ooh. When you think you know stuff and you hear them talking, you're like this, ooh, So I mean, it's a pleasure having all of them, when they do have time to come and talk with us about it.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, I'm starting to watch Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah.
Oh, nice, bro. What season are you on?
I'm just on season 1.
Yeah, just wait till season 2.
Yeah, that's what everybody says. You're literally the third person who's told me that. But you know what? I don't have a good analogy for it. But you can't tell me this is just okay. Remember when I used to tell you about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? And I'd be like, oh, but now you've got to watch it because it's good now. That's what it feels like when people talk to me about Jujutsu Kaisen.
Yeah, but the thing about it is season 1 is really good, but season 2 is just better.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Star Wars is good, but Empire Strikes Back is better than Star Wars. A New Hope.
Respect.
So I mean, it's like that.
I'm on season 1, episode 8 right now. Just,
Yeah, I think I'm on like maybe episode 9, so I'm gonna spoil it for Alfonso.
No.
Ooh,
Wait, is there a demon and he eats a finger? And
Dude, I remember when Joe explained that to me, I was like, yeah. I'm not gonna watch that.
Dude, how do you not watch it? It's just like basically like, a spirit dudes taking out curses, man. Like
it's cool now. I mean, I'm into it, but when you described it, I was like, and dude ate a finger, huh?
Yeah, old dusty gnarled up finger.
See, that's why I don't do Synoplis. Like usually Al does it, right? Because you don't want me doing PR for it, because I like, who's really good about anime when he talks about it is like my kids and Dean and Cavi. And when they talk about that, you're just like, I should check that out. Right. But when I try to explain it, Alan's looking at me like, so he eats a finger and he has a demon in him?
Yes. Find 9 more fingers.
Yeah. Like when I tell people like at work, I'm like, dude, you need to watch Kaiju number 8. Well, what is it about? It's so easy to explain Kaiju number 8 because it's kaijus. And it's humans that fight kaijus. You know what I mean? But there's cool fight scenes. I feel like it's easy to explain.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm loving me some Kaiju number 8 manga, by the way. But now that we've completely spun off Alfonso, get us back on track.
Well, let's not forget, like our superstar Derek Murray, who is the big time movie reviewer. We have different comic book artists on here and there. Eric Arriaga, who's like, he's got a big time scene going with the San Diego Comic-Con. Other names that escape me, but we've had. Go ahead.
Finch,
Finch Man X, FMX, yeah.
Finch was a good, he was a good find, man, because, I through online, I knew his online presence, the same, he was familiar with mine, and we happened to be at, WonderCon just recently and ran into each other. And it's like, you're him. And he goes, oh, you're him. And I'm like, these are my boys. And like, yeah, all right. And so it was it was just like that. No, but it was a pretty cool time. And, having him on, talking X-Men was amazing. I'm actually going to be on his podcast tomorrow, and we're going to talk some X-Men. So I can't wait to see where we go with that. He's going to kind of surprise me on where the conversation goes, but I have enough knowledge to where I can stick with it, unless we talk about the current stuff, because I've got about 5 small boxes here that I haven't read yet. So gotta catch up.
And that's why I stopped collecting. I'm on hiatus.
Yeah, me too, because it's just a lot of money. But I do want to do what you call it, the cosmicology or something like that.
Comicsology, yeah.
Comicsology, yeah.
Yeah, where you can actually subscribe and then read them on like it's a manga, like on my computer.
I think they've lost a lot of rights to like DC and Marvel stuff. So it's better like if you do the Marvel Universe one, like you could read everything. It's just that you don't get the current issues for a couple weeks. But X-Men starting over. It's Krakoa era is over. It's starting over. It's a good time to jump on.
I don't I'm not gonna say anything about that. Okay, so what else you got, Alfonso? Oh yeah. So as far as guests we've had on, I just have to say thank you to Steven. If we've never mentioned this before, the song that you hear at the beginning, and those of you that listen to us ramble all the way to the end, Steven edited all that. Now, before there was another song, and Steven was like, dude, your boy Dukes ain't got no skills. Is he going to be offended if I clean up his raggedy song? And Alfonso was like, I don't know, go for it. So Steven basically re-edited the beginning and the end song, and it's incredible. It doesn't even sound like the same song. Like when I listen to the song, I hear the notes and I know what it was, but it's like, wow, Steven just completely remastered it. So thank you so much, Steven Burnett, Cult Popcast, dude. You are a freaking genius when it comes to music and obviously movies.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And quick shout out to Gabe too. He hasn't been on our show. Yeah, Gabe is the other member of the Cult Popcast. He hasn't been on our show, but we've been on his. So Gabe is a lot of fun, man. He's a good guy to talk to. Maybe we'll get him on one day. We'll find an area expertise that he likes. I think
Gabe has been on our show.
Yeah, he has been on the show.
He has been on the show.
Oh, that's right. My bad. And then there's Gabe, who was on our show. We're gonna cut that out real quick. We'll just edit.
It's on YouTube.
But if you're watching on YouTube,
Alfonso's foot is in his mouth.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. So yeah, our guests, just thank you, every guest that's been on. I could talk about Danny J. Quick with Ace Blade.
Yeah.
I can talk about the creator Marcus Newsome of Lightning Strike. A lot of great creators. I can talk about my boy Rhino over at SideQuest. You mentioned before Eric Araga. Just so many great creators that have taken their time to share their projects with us. So I could go on forever, and I'm going to forget a lot. That's why I only have 2 kids, because I'd forget their names if I had 3. So yeah. Thank you, every single person who's contributed to the podcast.
Thank you. All right. Well, okay. So next subject here. Let's talk about the different conventions and cosplays that we've done. And do we have anything new on the horizon? What conventions we have coming? Do we have cosplays on the horizon? Maybe.
As far as conventions go, I feel like the dynamic we get hanging out together, being at conventions, it really highlights our differences in personalities, because I'll be honest with you, I think each of us has individually wanted to kill the other if we're together in a hotel room at any given time. Like I do this thing where I set an alarm for like 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Wait, one alarm?
Okay. I set like 4 alarms, okay? Between 4 to 8, okay?
And you know what? That's probably why I don't enjoy the X-Men theme song.
So I have different alarms for like every time I'm supposed to wake up. And one of them is the X-Men theme song. And I would assume that Joe was like, Alfonso, turn off your damn alarm. But
I believe I did say that. And he's like, that's not mine.
And I slept through it. I sleep through all of my
you sleep through all the alarms.
Yeah.
He's going to get up early and hit the gym, but
yeah. Hey, that nerd life can tire you out. So I can't speak on one specific convention. When I go to conventions, I really like seeing Alfonso in his element, because he's like Alfonso hyper ADD times 100. And I love seeing that. I love seeing him interact with cool nerds like Finch, cool X-Men nerds like Finch. And I love just hanging out with Joe. And like, for me, conventions, hanging out with Joe, going to panels, hearing Joe clown on every single member of the panels and explain why we would do better. That's what I love about convention. So it's not one convention, it's the convention experience with the two of you guys.
Let's not forget about how Ninja Joe is. He'll disappear for a minute, like, where'd Joe go? Next thing you know, he's like, tap, tap, tap. Damn, man, if he had a sword, he'd cut our head off.
Yeah.
Or we get a video text like, oh shit, Joe's watching me from where?
Yeah, you get that picture. It's you.
And he looks at me and I look at him.
I
I
don't know what
forgot
that
that
is.
song. That's R. Kelly, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, trapped in a
Hey.
closet.
Yes.
It's like stop.
Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, one great thing about what San Diego Comic Con, was it last year, 2 years ago? It's 2 years ago. I did my first cosplay. The boys said, "Hey, let's get together. Let's be GI Joe." And Dukes is like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be." Who are you?
Snake Eyes.
Snake Eyes. And Joe was
Roadblock.
Roblox. Oh my gosh! And they're like, "Alfonso, you could be Bazooka." And I'm like, "Bazooka? Man, I gotta shave my beard." So I started growing my mustache out as big as I possibly could, and then I shaved off my beard, man, and I had like 2 other chins. It was pretty embarrassing, but you know what? And it's funny because the only helmet I could find was an airsoft one, because if you got the actual one, it was like $500. So I got the airsoft helmet, and it was a little small for my big head, but I pulled it off. I made my own bazooka, got my combat boots. Dang, Joe's legs got tore up though, man. What was it, your shin pads?
Yeah, it was the
That's right.
shins. Because you know
Yeah.
why? Because I didn't listen to what Alan said before. You should probably try it on before you wear it.
Like, no, I'm good. I got this.
Yeah,
Normally
I
I'm the one who doesn't listen, but this time it was Joe.
yeah. I was like, "No, I'll be fine." I wasn't fine.
Oh man, that was a good time. And then what was
Yeah.
it? What was the next Comic Con? We went to the Hellfire Gala. Joe dressed up as Forget Me Not. It was in an X-Men that once after you see him, you don't remember. And
Yeah.
then Dukes was a Red Skull, all up in dressed in the nines, and I was somebody nobody knew, Quentin Quire, Kid Omega, and I just didn't get my hair pink enough. But what was amazing was my costume was actually pretty well done, in my opinion. So well done that when I was walking across the artist alley, this guy's like, "Hey, are you Quentin Quire?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." And he's like, "Come here, I designed that costume." So it was really cool to be recognized by the artist. We talked for a little while, and that made my day. All the people who didn't realize who I was, all those fake X-Men fans who just know Rogue and Gambit.
Bro, none of them knew who you were, bro. And they just picked the same people. If it isn't Storm, it's Gambit. If it isn't Gambit, it's Jean Grey. If it isn't Jean Grey, it's Cyclops. If it's not Cyclops, it's Jubilee now. It's
Rogue.
It's like, bro, there's so many different X-Men that you can pick that are dope.
Yeah, I was going deep cuts, man, and only the true fans realized who I was.
Wasn't any but the artists.
Yeah, right, dude. I mean, as long as you do it for you, that's totally cool. So,
Yes, sir.
are we working
Yeah.
on another cosplay right now?
Things that make you go,
Things to make you go,
I think we are.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we are working on a cosplay right now.
Got to get that group thing going.
Yeah, that group thing.
Cosplay.
Group cosplay. That's
Yes.
Yeah. So we're working on a group cosplay right now. It's going to be unveiled at the San Diego Comic Con, coming to you this July.
That's next
yes,
month.
sir. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
next month.
Yeah,
gonna
it is
be-
next month.
It's gonna be
Yeah.
so hot.
It's going to be too hot. Yeah,
Too
dude, don't
hot.
tell that to Joe, because Joe'll be like, "Never mind." Joe does
Hey,
not believe in
those are-
being hot, bro.
Those are facts.
They sell this little fan that you clip on your belt and you put it under your shirt and it blows the air up into your shirt.
I think I sent Joe a link to that. No lie. I'm pretty sure I did.
Nice. That
No
might
cap.
not be a bad idea.
No
No cap?
cap in 2020.
Because it's 2024.
Stop the cap in 2024.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're definitely, you guys should be pretty impressed by what we do when we do it. So, what's next up on the list, Alfonso?
So, okay, next on the list, before we get too far into everything else, I want to take a second to talk about these cool NWO shirts. If you like the shirts,
too.
and I know you do, you can get them at imnwo.com. Dukes has been designing shirts for a while. They're coming out amazing. He's got a few that are like, you got one based on Korn, Metallica, or Ish. I've designed a few myself, a Wolverine one. You got a, what do you call it? The hug emoji. When it first came out was Facebook with the hug in the heart. I put the NWO logo in that. We've got quite a few on there. So yeah, we get a chance, check it out, support the local crew. And Let's find our way through Comic-Con.
Finance our way through college because I'm tired of being on this pole.
Yeah.
It's got splinters,
Well,
man. It's got splinters.
It sounds like you're actually sitting next to the pole with them strobe lights in the background.
Hey, you know what, bro? What I do on my off time is what I do on my off time.
Waiting
Coming
for
up
some
on the main
blade.
stage,
I'll-
it's Cinnamon. Give it up for Cinnamon.
Follow me now on Fans Only.
Beat picks.
I'm waiting for that blade intro to come in.
And then the blood just comes from the ceiling. Next thing you know, you're in the Matrix at
You know, this isn't a YouTube ad, but you guys are missing out. These jokes aren't missed. These jokes are not hitting unless you're watching the video version of this. But if you are
Yeah.
watching the video version, I'm just being clowned. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So regarding the t-shirts, at this point, I make t-shirts for myself. They don't even make it onto the website at this point. I'm just like, this is cool. Like I made a t-shirt. Joe was like, hey, well, why don't you do this? I'm like, yeah, but I'm never actually going to send it to you. So yeah, I'm making t-shirts you guys never even see at this point. I just make them for me. I got like a whole
Yeah,
rabbit
you just
line
start
of
wearing
t-shirts.
them all day. That's pretty dope.
I'm gonna start getting my own equipment and I'm gonna take over distribution. It's gonna be on.
Nice, dude. But yeah. Take out the t-shirts. What do you got up next, Alfonso?
Up next, we've got our TV shows, movies, and cartoons, animes. All the subjects that we talk about, we generally, stick to those categories that are nerd-like or nerd-adjacent. Have you guys had a favorite? I know Joe loves talking the anime. I love talking the X-Men. Dukes loves to talk about Predator 2.
For me, I'll answer this in two parts. Part number one is I love talking about movies because I love movies. I feel like movies are an opportunity to have a collective conversation, not just with us, but with people around the entire world simultaneously. So that's really why I love movies. Now, that being said, Phase 4, man. Cool.
The multiverse of madness.
Yeah, multiverse of crapness, man. Yeah.
What do you feel about Phase 4, Joe?
Good old Phase 4.
Was it more disappointing than Justice League?
You know what's just is starting to get really bad like Phase 4 is the Acolytes.
I mean, we didn't even get to see the Wookiee with the lightsaber go at it, man.
Yeah,
I was robbed.
You know what's crazy is they spent more money on this series than Obi-Wan did, and you couldn't give us a Wookiee fight scene.
Dude, that would have been so sweet.
Because we've never seen one. That would have been sick.
Every time he swings the lightsaber, he singes a little bit of his hair off.
Yeah, you just get him sitting in a chair like this.
So here's what I think
Bro,
about the Wookiee
yeah,
fight
bro.
scene.
He was sitting in a chair like that. Homeboy came up and said, you got to huck through that thing. You know what I'm saying? That's what he looked like when he was sitting on that thing.
They
Looked
found
he
him like
just got
David
hucked through
Carradine.
her. Yeah, it looked like he just got hucked toward.
So I think that there was a Wookiee fight scene and they cut it out because it looked dumb. That's just my personal opinion, because I feel like Wookiees are a little bit too bulky. And I know Joe's going to go, but what about Yoda? Well, that proves my point. What about Yoda?
They said they ran out
Yeah.
of money. They said it would have been too
Oh.
expensive.
Yeah.
But it's
That-
you know,
That's
you
what
guys
it
see the
should
new
have.
episode? You see the new episode?
No, I
The
haven't.
one for today?
No.
I haven't seen today's.
I have to choose between watching that or watching more Jujutsu Kaisen tonight.
Oh.
Jujutsu Kaisen. You should watch that.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Bro, this episode, actually watch this episode so I can hear telepathically in your mind, this is lazy writing. When you find out who this person is, that's the villain, you're going to say this is lazy writing because it's so predictable. And you
Okay.
were hoping they wouldn't do that.
I'm gonna go out on a limb, but I'm pretty sure it's the little Asian guy that hangs around with her.
Okay. Don't spoil it.
That's what I think.
But I watched something on New Rock Stars that alluded to that, and I was like, Okay,
Mhm.
that makes sense. But don't
Yep.
don't spoil it because I don't like being spoiled. And there's millions and millions of listeners
Lazy
out there.
writing.
Yes, the millions and the
And
millions
millions.
of
Yeah.
the NWO
Oh.
fans.
Lazy writing.
We'll see. We'll see. I might think that it's a genius, ingenuitive stroke of writing. Just to disagree with Joe. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you
text
might.
you guys. I'm gonna be like, yo, this writing fam, this is good.
It was so fancy. Did they use one of them quills? Like with the big feather at the end of it,
Peter Quill was
it-
in this episode.
dipping it in the ink. Well,
Stop the cap in 2024.
You know what? My cap runs so deep. I'm already good for 2025. I've already got reservations for cap in 2025. So
Your reservations been canceled.
so Alfonso, what's your favorite? Oh, X-Men. Okay, moving on.
yeah. I mean, come on. There was nothing more pleasing to me than X-Men 97. I'm sorry, I do have to take a moment to stand on my soapbox. Let me borrow that from you, Dukes. I'm gonna stand on my soapbox. Dude, X-Men 97 was where it was at. This was cinematic genius. I mean, like, it's a cartoon. It's not an anime, right, Joe? It's a cartoon,
Mhm.
but it
Mhm.
had cinematic scenery. Magneto's looking off into the window at Genosha, and there's a little glass of whiskey with the ice that's just and the drip is coming down and the ice cracks, and just, dude, there was some epic stuff. Epicness of epic proportions.
Mhm.
So can't preach enough.
So Magneto looked from the window to the walls till the sweat ran down his.
Windows to the
Ran down his.
walls.
Okay.
It's
Thanks,
like-
Alfonso. We needed that.
Balls.
We needed that, Alfonso. Thank you.
Mm.
Dude, and Gambit, man. The name's Gambit, mon ami. Remember it. Oh, man. Dude, it was like, come on, man. I'm not crying. You're crying.
Right, dude. How many movies did Phase 4 and TV shows came out, bro? And I felt like just certain dialogue of X-Men 97 just blew away the movies. Every movie
Everything.
and TV
everything.
series. Yeah.
I'm going to be happy if they just X-Men 97 is canon. And then what happens in 2025 is just, or 26, whenever the X-Men come out, is just like, that's all happened. This is where we're at with the X-Men now. That's
I
what
hope
need
they
to
do that. I hope they
Good
do that.
Lord. Oh, look at that. I got goosebumps again. I got goosebumps. Yes, Dukes.
Sorry, but there's a little movie called Deadpool that is going to pull the X-Men into the MCU.
Yeah,
Or-
but you could do both.
Yes,
If you
sir.
pull them into, it can be like I've said, already established, which I think they should.
And speaking of Deadpool, I got to talk about I'm playing Marvel Contest of Champions on my phone. Someone that messed up my thumb for 2 months. And yeah, there's a panda pool. So I'm calling it for the Deadpool 2 movie. It's going to be ridiculous, but there's going to be a panda pool. Deadpool is a panda. Hey, that's Joe.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Panda, 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 panda. It's
So,
a song,
Joe.
folks.
Wait, dude, I know that song.
You never know.
You know, I got people in Atlanta. I know that song.
Yeah, panda, panda.
Yeah, see. So Joe, did you have a favorite? We know what you don't like, but did you have a favorite?
A favorite episode?
Like TV show, movie, whatever we've discussed. Did you have favorite of something we've discussed?
Oh, yeah. Shoot. I was teeter-tottering back and forth. First, it was Ahsoka, but then One Piece. When I watched One Piece, to me, I think, as far as an anime fan, and One Piece is my favorite anime. For them to do it justice and do a live action, I'm just like, please let season 2 be just as good. But yeah, dude, like, I really love talking about that. That was one of my favorites. Because dude, it was so good.
Yeah. I would say it was so good that anytime something else came out, Joe would be like, no, One Piece is better. It doesn't matter. One Piece is better.
Right. Because I think we finished before Ahsoka, I want to say, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think Ahsoka started after, but
Yeah, because
Oh.
they put out all the episodes at once, right? So you just binge watched it.
yeah, and then Ahsoka almost got me when, Anakin came back. The whole episode with him in there, that kind of nostalgia. But
Mhm.
I felt like One Piece episode, if you put episode against episode, by far One Piece to me had better episodes.
I could see that. I can't disagree.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised because, once again, Joe was telling me about One Piece, and I was like, so this is dude, and he ate a fruit, not a finger this time. And now he's stretchy. And you're like, yeah, he's stretchy. And that's a good power. Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I watched it, I was like, dude, this is pretty cool. I like it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Joe,
The special
did you
effects
see-
were good in it too. So I mean,
Oh,
They
so-
were much better than DC's.
much better.
yeah.
Did you see the day that they announced the Baroque Works actors?
You know what? I saw something of that, but I haven't seen who they are.
The one that I know more than anything is Dave Dastmalchian. He's the guy who played Polka Dot in
Oh yeah,
Suicide
yeah. I
Squad.
just see that. I just see
He's
that.
going to be number 5.
Yeah.
The wax one, is that number 5?
Mhm.
Yeah, because it was a 5 in his hair, or is it? No, it's 3.
You know,
'Cause he had-
though, that's number 3.
3, yeah, dude, he's going to be so good as that guy.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, that dude's really good and everything.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? We remember we saw him at a panel. Remember, he was coming out with a book.
Yeah, it was a horror book,
Mhm.
Oh,
a horror comic book. I tried to
Mhm.
find that later on, could not
You
find
can't.
it.
You
anywhere.
can't, right?
Yeah. It's wild. Alfonso,
yes, sir.
what are we up to now? What are we going to talk about?
Well, let's see. According to my list here, I think we've got. Oh, the only thing we didn't talk about is the games that we there was one episode that we did one game, and that was Marvel Snap. And I don't know about you boys, but right now I'm still playing, and I just got to level 97. It's awesome. It's awesome. You
Dude,
still
that's
play it all,
dope.
Dukes?
You're close. You're
Thank
close.
you, sir.
You can't play that.
Dukes has a very short attention span.
He's like, and that's all I got to say about that. So, how you doing with it, Joe? How you doing with it?
I'm 34. Like whenever I play, I think the highest I get to is like 75 until
Yeah.
and then either the season ends or I go back down because it's gambling to me, bro.
Yeah.
Sometimes
And
I say I go like this, like on a table, you go like this, hit me.
Right.
And sometimes I
All
lose,
in.
and sometimes I win, dude.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Do you play what is it? The one, the one that's on the bottom right. The one where you got to play somebody 4 times in a row. I don't do
Oh,
that much.
Conquest? Yeah, I always
Yeah.
play Conquest because they always give you like a variant of a card, which I
Yeah.
wish because you could play it and like you can snap anytime you want. So I like it. So even if I lose, I can snap as much as I want. And then like when you do like you get those is it crystals or I don't even know what they are. Little
You get, like,
crystals.
golden tickets.
Yeah, no, the little crystals. So like
Uh-huh.
you know how you do those crystals and you for like you get more tokens, I guess. That's what it's called,
Yeah, yeah.
tokens. So you can play that without having to use a deck. Because you used to be able to do like playing in a competitive thing, and then you would lose and go down because I'm playing decks that I don't want to play decks. But if you play Conquest, you can play decks, which I wish I would have did a lot sooner because I would have got that Wolverine Ultimate card.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, and it's open.
Duke's over here spinning you on his finger like a basketball.
Just poking.
He's like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. My main thing is like when the missions come up, I want to complete the mission. So I got like like
Right.
you need to use 10 1.1 power cards. So it's like I got I got a deck of all ones, and then when you got to do the twos, I got a deck of all twos. But then I got my Scar deck, man. Oh, dude. I call it Scar D Har Har. Yeah, that one's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Little thing underneath says I have a Hulk, and I don't use
That's
Hulk.
cool.
I only have She-Hulk and Scar.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't play games, dude. I mean,
You got no time for games.
I got the outdated Xbox One. So,
I got
Yeah.
that right there. Mine's right there.
yeah. So, yeah, I'm not in, I don't play games. Yeah. So I get bored with games. I got a short attention span. Sorry.
Dude, my boy, 8 years old, man. You know what he wants to do all the time? He wants to play chess. I'm
Party
like,
all
I
the
taught
time.
him one day, and now that's there. You know, it's funny. My boy wants to. No, but we're playing chess left and right, and he's so mad. He's like, I'm gonna beat you, Dad. You're gonna go down, old man. He's a thinker.
That's cool. Speaking of games, we forgot to shout out Jake. You know,
From State
not
Farm.
forget Jake.
yeah, Jake has mentioned that apparently Marvel versus Capcom, they're coming out with a new version. It's tearing up the interwebs right now. Everybody's talking about it. So that's going to be a future episode with young brother Jake. So that'll be cool.
Jake, my nephew, Jake Hayward, man. Jake is a cool kid. You know, it's like it's so good to have him in my life. I feel like, you know, he's kind of giving me that mentor role again. And you know, it's so weird when because I always feel so juvenile, you know, I always feel so like, you know, I'm not the most adult, you know, but then every now and then I get somebody to put under my wings and I teach them how to be a man, and it makes me feel good about myself.
That's pretty cool. Oh yeah, I like Jake. I used to work with him, and he's just a cool cat, dude. So
Jake
good dude.
from State Farm.
That's right, State Farm.
Like a good neighbor.
So
What are you
I'll
wearing, Jake from State
be-
Farm?
Jake.
Well, you
Jake,
sound hideous.
yeah, that's right, Jake. You can't come back on the podcast because you sound hideous. So I'll do my final thoughts, you know, and then I'll let you guys go ahead and Rochambeau. So for me, you know, the podcast it's just awesome because I feel like I don't get an opportunity to hang out with you guys. You know, for me, it's work, home, home, work, work, home, travel, 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 Disneyland, work, 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 right? Which is awesome. I do love all of those things. I love paying my bills, etc. But hanging out with you guys is awesome, and I don't get to do it that much. So, podcast, modcast, I just love hanging out with you guys, and the fact that other people get to see the opportunity that I get to hang out with you guys. This is why we're at 100. So, thank you guys.
Thank you, sir. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say same thing, man. It's like this gives me the ability to decompress from life. You know, I've got a lot going on. You know, I've got 1 million kids or 7. You know, kind of like 1 million. You know, I've got a job where I work. I mean, I just recently went up from 3 days a week to 4 days a week because the sugar mamas make me work more, whatever. But you know, I also go to karate 3 or 4 days a week, and I teach about 3 days a week. So, even though, you know, I'm having a lot of fun, it's a busy life, and when you're constantly in pain in your lower back, everything you do is exhausting. So, you know, when it comes down to like, hey, let's go catch a movie, hey, let's grab a bite to eat, I don't always have that in me, you know, because I'm like, man, I'm gonna take a nap. But this is something that I look forward on a weekly basis talking to you two, man. You guys have been such a saving grace to me. You know, you got to get that time. Sometimes you got to get that time away from your family, decompress a little. So, you know, I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I just want to say, domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. That was the cut. Remember that? Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto. Domo. So I just want to say thanks, man. I love hanging out with you guys. And I felt like I'm at the bar again, and Alan Dukes is giving me that look, you know, that look that kept me from doing some things that night that I'll never let him forget. But that's another story.
That is another story.
But yeah, like, you know, like I enjoy, like, every week we have a game plan. I get to hang out with you guys and chill, you know. And so I always have fun. And to everybody out there, like, if you want to get to know us and what we're all about, just listen to the podcast, man. This is how we are in real life. So whatever we're talking about now is how we're talking. We're usually talking more crap about, you know, like, if the panels and the people on the panels are like phase 4, you know, I'm gonna get you. But, you know, yeah.
Like a good ninja, Joe Twice there.
And this concludes this episode of the Nerd World Order broadcast. So until next time, ladies, gentlemen, and knights of the Nerd World Order, I am NWO.
We are NWO.
Nerds redefined. Booyah!